What's going on, world? It's your boy Gemini Brown here, back with another episode of Nalo Kicking Knowledge. Today, we'll be talking about narcissism and narcissists and 5 things you need to keep in mind to better understand narcissism and narcissists. So, let's get into it. Me being me and having a love for words and communication, I'm always paying attention to like when something comes into the collective consciousness. And I want to say like narcissism, just like the word, this is more slang, but it's definitely in the culture now, like cap, you capping, or get into the bag, right? That's funny. I heard a news anchor reference get into the bag or something like that. I was like, oh shit, this is what a time. But like I said, I always like paying attention to like when something comes into the collective consciousness. And these days, you know, it'll start online. Then if you pay attention close enough, you'll see those things flow over into real life. And it's like when you look at it, especially for people older, it's like, yo, before in the 2000s or the 1990s, I ain't never hear the word narcissist, but now that's everywhere you go, right? And part of that is because people evolve, right? We as people evolve, our social dynamics evolve, and words are very much so ways of classifying things. So it's not that there hasn't been narcissists, like the whole idea of a narcissist is new. There's been people who display these tendencies. People just didn't know what the hell to call it. And what I find is that just like someone who learns like a dope piece of slang, I feel like there are people who fall in love with these things. And just like the word bipolar can definitely get out of hand in understanding of what that said thing is, okay? So one thing that I do when I hear someone bring up this word or say they're dealing with the narcissist, I ask them for their personal definition of narcissist. I don't expect you to know the dictionary one. How do you define a narcissist? And you'll be surprised. Like I said, you don't need a textbook definition, but you do need a well thought out understanding of why you're calling someone a particular thing, you know? So I would suggest y'all do that, or even ask yourself, how would I define narcissism? I'm gonna give you my perspective, okay? The first thing I actually want to say with this, first thing you need to keep in mind is that narcissism is not a disorder. It is a personality trait. That's my belief. This is not something to being bipolar. It's not a chemical imbalance. I believe that it is indeed a trait. It is how someone is relating to the world around them. And based on how their personality is shaped, it's going to reveal those tendencies. As we go on, we're going to continue with this in other videos too. But, you know, I throw the astrology in there. I would say that if you the energies, the fire sign energies are predisposed for narcissism in its nature. Aries, Leo, Sag. They are predisposed for narcissism. So if you have a healthy amount of this energy, okay, or active in one of these places in which that energy corresponds to, it's definitely something to consider. That doesn't make you a narcissist, but the potentiality can definitely be there. Just off those energies in, you know, particular areas, okay? Now, with that being, what is that personality trait, right? Let's define that a little bit more. I believe that is someone who lacks empathy. Someone, so then we bring in Beingness, right? Beingness is like, and remember, Venus is exalted in Pisces, and part of that exaltation is that you have immense compassion and understanding for others. You can literally put yourself in other shoes and all of that at a divine nature, right? It's someone who lacks the ability to relate to others in a compassionate or empathetic way. So it's Moon and Venus. But like I said, so it's that emotion And then how am I relating towards others, okay? And someone who is demanding in regards of having their needs met. And then a narcissist, someone who as a result of not having their demanding needs met, typically reacts in a childish, Leo, fifth house, manner, okay, or dramatic manner, depending on how they are engineered, might become manipulative, Scorpio, detached, Aquarius, okay, and then the stubbornness of Taurus. I believe that the distinguishing thing that makes someone truly a narcissist is the inability to change. And that goes back to Venus, Libra, balance, compromise, fairness. Remember, children aren't aware, they learn. Children learn behavior. They learn that this is right or this is wrong. The narcissist just plainly doesn't give a fuck, or they are unwilling to change. Fixed energy also, like I said, plays a role within this. So the next thing you want to know about narcissism. So we established some traits that it's a personality trait, and those things there are more things connected to that, but those are some starters. Next thing about narcissists, I believe that they're conditioned rather than born. They're conditioned in that way rather than born that way. This is where it gets interesting, because we may have someone, let's say, born with a particular energetic alignment that might predispose them towards narcissistic tendencies. But if born into the correct family, that shit's getting shut down. This is science. This is just truth. That is how human beings are programmable. So I may be predispositioned to want to dominate, to not want to care about the needs of others. But if I'm born into a family like the Jacksons, right? And fuck getting famous, say, we're all there. You're constantly having to adjust to others. Through time, that learned behavior of always having to share, always having to be considerate, will override the natural tendency to want to do whatever. Now, this can create other dynamics like like a shadow and all of that, but there are certain things that need to be contained. Not all parts of self need to run amok. There'll be a time and a place, right? But always keep in mind, we are here to evolve. So I do believe that narcissists learn that. So what kind of environment is this? Obviously, if you're an only child, that definitely gives a heavy push, because part of your learning, whether it be through siblings and others, it isn't there, right? Then it goes like it matters. The character of your parents matters, and the relationship you have with them. You can't escape that. And I think for anyone who wants to feel like they are unaffected, whether good or bad, by their parents' lives, you're in denial, okay? And somewhat probably blinded by your own ego to some extent. But I just wanted to say that. So a large portion of narcissists have to do with their parents, okay? Doesn't mean that they were born like the parents was a narcissist, but through how they develop that child's ego and interaction in the world, it breeds that. I give you a great example. You'll have a parent who feels like they're there materially. Oh, I give you everything you need. I'm always, celebrating your achievements. But you may have actually never been there for them emotionally, right? So you celebrated all the highs, but you were never there with them to help get over the lows. This matters because that's your model of dealing and coping. So that child is under-equipped to go out and help someone they're intimately or platonically involved with deal with their own shit. It's gonna be like, well, I don't know what to do here. A lot of it is very much so stemming from they were raised. So you'll definitely want to have that family knowledge and those dynamics in mind when whoever you're dealing with. This brings me to the next part of what we need to understand. Everyone who you may perceive as a narcissist may only be a narcissist to you. So narcissism it's a personality trait which the person can carry around to, everywhere they go. But I believe there are relationships that trigger narcissistic tendencies within others. So, and then, this is where you evaluate the synastry and things like that. Okay. So this deals with Neptune. Neptune is a healthy layer of confusion and illusion here. So speaking of Neptune, one of the traits here of a narcissistic person, particularly relationship-wise, is this person has to be my ideal. Or let's say a physical ideal, but everyone is set up different. So say someone is conditioned very well with their mom emotionally, narcissistically, there's an expectation that all women can do this. And therefore, rather than seeking out the physical things, like, no, I'm seeking someone who plays towards this emotional part of myself. I think what we find in life is that we need a healthy balance of what we're seeking. You know what I'm saying? We can't overcompensate in one area. And the illusionary nature of narcissism is attached towards expectation. And this is where I'm trying to clarify on both sides here. You will have the narcissist who puts the person who may naturally have narcissistic tendency puts their ideals onto this person. You have to be this thing that I'm expecting. And then on the other side, we have the individual. Let's bring in some synastry. Let's say we have someone's personal planet opposing another's Neptune, or in harsh aspect to that Neptune. That planet person may naturally place their expectations or ideals on the Neptune person. And when that Neptune person doesn't meet that, it can be perceived as, we'll say, victimhood, but like I said, oh, you're being narcissistic. The energies will be revealing. So obviously, if we have an Aries person dealing with a Libra person, that's naturally how the Libra person might feel. So I say all that to say this, that to keep in mind here that it may not fully be what you see. That person you may be experiencing this narcissism because it's you and this individual, where as another person or many other people can perceive them differently. I think it's really important to know, because it also keeps us in a line of understanding. Because that's what astrology is like, damn, why does it feel like this? Or why does it manifest like this? And we always have the energetic understanding, okay, of that. Thing you want to keep in mind. I think it's important. It goes ahead with the mindfulness of what I was talking about, of just knowing why. And it's more so of how you want to perceive it. If you're in an interaction with a narcissist, or you yourself may feel like one, look at it as an emotional deficit. There are people, based on the energies you have, let's say someone with their moon in Venus conjunct. This is an ideal mate to some extent. If you get in a really great sign, someone who can emotionally fulfill, because their energies that deal with those things are aligned, okay? And then it's kind of like if you're dealing with someone who we were talking about last week, like Moon, Saturn, like, okay, emotionally they can't get there. So this point plays on my last point of like expectation and kind of how we've gotten so comfortable with this word because we're not really understanding each other. We're trying to define what the hell we're experiencing, but then we may lose sight that like, oh, this person is emotionally immature, emotionally stunted, handicapped, you know, and like I said, that can help you have compassion and just decide whether or not this is for you or it's not. All right. This brings me here into this last point. It's really great. I really think it's important to know in the spirit of knowing. I don't think you can ever fulfill the narcissist. I don't think they, particularly in like to the degree that it is, if a person is truly like about themselves or want things their particular way, there's nothing you could actually do, even if you give them their way, that'll satisfy that, because it's an attitude of entitlement, or entitlement. I want more, insatiable. Okay, so it's a lot here, but like I said, it's something we'll continue to build on. If you want to join my classes, the Lions Den, you know, we discuss these topics more in depth and stuff like that. Just reach out. If you need a reading, holla at me. We're doing personalized astrology readings. Pick your own topics, things like that. You have to check out my book, Astrology of the Matrix. Do so now. Till next time, peace.